game up. Hard hydration. They make it an adult beverage with a special blend of electrolytes. Comes in 4 flavors currently, a variety pack of fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape.
Full flavor, 110 calories per can, low carb. So enjoy. I was too busy watching WrestleMania all weekend. So Chevy's just going to tell us about the co-main event and the main event from this past weekend's Fight Night card. Why don't we start with the coach?
Just a couple of split decisions, 2 very close fights. A lot of decisions on this card. Unless you watched the early prelims, almost everything was a decision. So Damon Jackson squeaked out a split decision over Alexander Hernandez, which he was favored to do anyway. And then Brendan Allen, Chris Curtis 2 took place mostly on the feet. Chris Curtis has, I believe, the highest takedown defense in middleweight division. Brendan was able to get him down a couple times, but Chris was very good and Brendan would be on his back and Chris would slide, put his shoulders down on the mat and just sit up. And he got out like 4 or 5 times. On the feet, pretty even. I think Chris landed the harder shots for sure, but it ended up being a split decision win for Brendan Allen. Couple wonky scorecards, and unfortunately for Chris Curtis, he had to be stretchered out of the arena. I think he looked like a torn hamstring or something. Bummer for him. Very close fight, but Brendan Allen moves on. He's got to be fighting. I don't know how long Vittori's out, but he's got to be fighting a top level guy now.
Strickland, so tough. I mean, that whole camp, Strickland, Curtis, I was just going to say, so tough. Really shows the improvement of Brendan Allen, though. This is a fight that he was finished by Curtis before, and he worked his way, got a win streak, and now he got the victory. And yeah, I don't think you can really downplay this victory too much. I think Curtis, if anything, is underrated. He's had so many tough fights, and he's just always ready to fight, just like his training partner, Sean. And yeah, he's got to be getting a big fight next. So good for Brendan Allen. Can't wait to see what he does next. Now, before we get to UFC 300, there was a couple news and notes from this weekend Chevy was reminding me of. So let's talk about it. Why don't we, before we get to the announcement, why don't we go with the bad news, I guess we'll call it. Jon Jones in trouble again. What's going on here?
Yeah, Jon Jones, this is all alleged stuff. There's some conflicting reports, but apparently Jon Jones had a drug test visit and the agent claimed that her life was threatened by Jon. She showed up, Jon was drunk and he was yelling at them and threatened to kill her, basically. So Jon has come out immediately saying, he's shown a video of them like high-fiving each other when they're leaving, which doesn't really say much. I mean, if she's afraid for her life, she's going to do whatever she needs to do. But Jon said he was taking a nap while also celebrating a friend's birthday, which that doesn't make sense, at his house, and was partying. So he was drunk or whatever, and he used some profanity, but he never raised his voice or got in her face, but claimed that she was incredibly unprofessional. So it's a lot of he said, she said.
Right.
It's going to come out in the wash. Jon Jones is going to be completely free and clear of everything because he always gets away with this bullshit. And he's going to continue to be the quote unquote heavyweight champion, even though the BMF belt has now been defended more times than the heavyweight championship in the last 4 years.
A couple things real quick on this. Again, it is all allegedly. One, if you're Jon Jones and you're saying anything possibly threatening at all or in a mood, not a good look, especially with a smaller, I'd imagine smaller female, going into just bad look, So yeah, you could feel like your life is threatened. So, that. Also, again, he said, she said, right? But you were taking a nap at a party, but I had a little bit of booze. Now, it sounds like you were passing out because you were drunk when you tell me that. I'm just saying, again, wasn't there. But if a friend of mine told me that, that would be my response. I'm like, oh, you were drunk. I get it. I get sleepy when I start drinking too. Anyway, yeah, that's what that sounds like. That's crazy, but not crazy because we've seen this stuff so many times. I will say this, Chevy, though, much as I agree with you that Jon has always got a pass, one thing we'll have to look out for this time is, I could be messed up on my timeline, but the last time Jon really messed up, I think this was, before we had the TKO merge and everything like that. I'm not saying anything with Ariel Emanuel, but I'm just saying there's a lot more spotlight on this company right now. And you are an aging fighter still a big name, but an aging fighter, and they do not need you as much anymore. So not a good time. The only thing I would say is it's not as bad as some of his other guys pass, but boy, he doesn't have a lot to work with, right? So
yeah, that's a good point that they definitely don't need him. And also this is his third offense with with a woman,
Let's
basically.
put it this way. Because it's a he said, she said, and nobody actually was physically harmed, I won't be surprised if he gets away with anything. If this was like in the past, and this was like some drunken drive-in bullshit, and it was a pregnant woman, I don't think Ario Emanuel, he'd just be like, fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens with this.
You might see some underhanded stuff, some subtle things where they force John into a fight before he wants to. They don't give him the Stipe fight. They make him fight Tom Aspinall, put all their chips on Tom. He's the new champion kind of thing. So
I never know. Yeah. Sure.
Don't give him the exit that he's looking for. But I don't know. We'll see. I hate John Jones, though, and I can't wait for him to be gone from the sport.
There was other news, too, though.
Dana posted a video of Conor walking through the underground parking lot and said, coming soon on his Instagram or something like that. There has been previously at a press conference a big Conor fight announcement. So there's some rumblings that maybe we'll get that here at UFC 300. The press conference, which if you're listening to the audio version of this, will have already happened because it will happen on Thursday, is going to have every fighter on the card. So it will be an all-time great press conference for sure. So perfect time to reveal some Conor news or something like that.
Like I was saying to you off air too, I don't know if Conor's going to fight again, but if you're teasing something like this, at this point, you're wasting everybody's time if it's not a fight. It's just from a business standpoint. Why get people excited? They're already, at this point, a lot of people don't believe anything with him coming up. So they're already jaded about Conor. So if you're going to do something, just do it now, I would say. I wouldn't even advertise it. I guess it doesn't hurt. But at this point, like I said, everybody's so jaded. I just, but we'll see what happens.
I bet it'll be a International Fight Week fight. I'm assume that him and Chandler will be fighting. And now that Conor's done with his movie tour thing that he has to do, he can focus on fighting and drinking and doing drugs and cheating on his wife or whatever he does, allegedly.